is I'm just going to try and explain what we're trying to do here. And I just want to thank you again um, for hearing me and for hanging in there. So essentially, what I would do in terms of the plan for tonight is just to show you, I'm going to share a slide with you on what we do and why we're where we are, and the plan for the future, and also the things that we're looking to achieve. So fundamentally, I happen to be in the market. I've been in this market for roughly about 9 years. So I came to this country about 9 years, almost 9 years ago, about 9 years ago actually, and I found out that when I came in here, I was into project management, and and there was a lot of challenges in the marketplace. Um, so essentially, I decided to do project management because that's what I wanted to do. I like talking to people. I like managing and having conversation with people. So I decided to go into project management. But when I went into project management, I had a big challenge to in order to break through into the market, because I went to do my Prince 2 exam, pass this Prince 2 exam. Actually before I finished the training, I passed the Prince 2 exam, but I couldn't get a job. I couldn't, I didn't understand it. So I go for interviews. I remember there was an interview I went for with the Law Society, and I got there. The guy says, ask me all of the question. Then he asked me one question about dictaphone. He said, how do you capture minutes? And I said, oh, I actually I just get out the document and just write out my minutes. And the guy said, have you used a dictaphone? For I didn't even know what it was. I said I don't know. And the person said, when I was gonna say, oh wow, I see that you're very knowledgeable. He said, did you just finish when did you write your exam again? I said, oh, I just finished like last week. Oh, it shows. Obviously, I have all the knowledge, but I didn't have the practical experience. All right. So, and then fortunately for me, there was the guy now is in Canada, who happened to then try to help me. And what he did was he took me to their what we call a repository where all of their documents are, and he actually then showed me templates and how it works, and then that sort of made the whole thing to visualize for me. And then what I did was I then eventually, the next job I got, I was able to visualize what has been done. And also the other thing I did was I did some like a part-time job somewhere where I was trying to put myself to work to try and learn the trade. So instead of just sitting down at home and saying, you know what, something's gonna happen, I just actually have to find a place where I can try and find a way to practicalize what I've learned so far. All right. So, and that's how, by the grace of God, I was able to then get a job in that market. And since then, it's been upward movement all along. So I'm really, really grateful that I've been able to scale up in the career in the country. And what I've then tried to do is, as we started running Prince 2 training for people, but we found out that some people don't still get it. Some people, after they've done the training, they can't visualize it. Some people ask them question, they won't be able to actually answer properly because they have not been able to articulate themselves properly. They have not been able to see actually what is going on there. So the reason why this course was then set up, it was to try and address that gap. So in a minute, I'm just going to share some screen with you, in terms of we're going to be looking at today. So if you look on the screen here, it talks about who we are, what we do. So the company that I happen to be the CEO of was founded in 2006. Just shortly when I got into this country, and it was started as is a management consultancy firm, basically, which means we work. We don't just do training; we actually do consulting in different areas. And I've been fortunate to work in different places. Some of the places that I've consulted with, you have the Aid, Zurich, Telegraph, Vodafone, Unilever, and we've also done some work around building with a company called Tyco Electronics, one of the biggest electronic company in the world. And we've trained hundreds of people since 2006, obviously. But I think training people alone is not enough. What is really crucial is being able to um, get people to be able to have the work experience. And we know that, like as I mentioned before, a lot of people they do have certification, but they struggle to get a job. And therefore, we after when we saw that there's a problem in that area, we decided to set up what we call a one-day practical workshop where we teach you project planning, you put everything, cram everything together. But really, in reality, except anybody fools anyone, there's no way you can go for a one-day practical workshop that you actually understand how project works. So you need minimum of 3 months rigorous real life cycle experience to be able to add value. So the Get Back to Work mentoring program then was created to address this particular issue. And then, but in terms of what we offer, basically what we try to do is we get you to come into a project, a live project that we work with one of our clients, and then you go over a 3 months intensive mental level experience with Concepts World, and we'll give you templates for the project deliverables. You work in your area of specialty, so whether it is project management or business analysis or testing, and then we'll also give you feedback on the work that you produce. We also do what we call like an honors roll. So for every single coursework that you get given, or based on the work that you're working on, we give, they will always select that somebody who's done the best work in that coursework, just to encourage people, just to make sure that this work is actually work. And one of the things that I try to tell people that come on our mentoring program is that the only way to succeed is to see the mentoring program as work, not just as a training. If you want ordinary training, you can go to knowledge. I think there's one called Knowledge, whatever. They give you prestige training, but we do not pride ourselves as a training organization. We pride ourselves as a value add organization where you just don't do the training, but you actually get the work experience. And because we provide references for people that work on our project, it's important that you actually work. So when you get on the program, you must work. A lot of people on the program, they work long hours, because we most of the stuff that we do as well, we run it online. So actually it gives opportunity to people that are not even within the country to participate. So we normally will run about 2 or 3 face-to-face session, maybe at the beginning, sometime in the middle, and towards the end of the project. We do like face-to-face. But as we expand the team, what we're going to be doing, actually, we're going to be doing something like this Google Hangout. So even if you're based in Nigeria or based in the US and you want to be part of the program, we can Google Hangout you on the day that we're doing the face-to-face. But most of the stuff are done using online platform. We have our repository area where we keep files. We have a collaboration tool that we use to collaborate, which I'm going to show you in a minute. The other thing we do is that we also review your CV towards the end of the program, and we do like what we call it's not really formalized, but it's like a graduation. I wouldn't call it ceremony. It was like a graduation time when you've done 3 months on our program. We say that you think as well that you're ready to launch into the market. Obviously, we graduate you and say, okay, yeah, you're ready to go. We look at your CV, help you we tell you how to look for job on JobServe, how to use keywords. We tell you the mindset of the recruiter and how they do things. You get the opportunity to also present. So every single time you work in a team, we'll get you to come and present back and say, okay, look, let's say we give you an assignment to work on a project brief. We'll then ask you to come and present back to the rest of the people, and then we'll give feedback. Also, the work that you produce, we feedback back on that, regularly, so that you can look at where you've missed it and where you've not missed it. And some of the feedback we've add back from people that are actually mentees, that's what we call them on the program, is the feedback is actually what they really like, the fact that they can produce a work package and you get feedback on it. You get assigned a group email. So basically, once you give us your email address, we'll assign you to a mentoring program, a mentoring group email in Concepts World, so that when we send an email out, you can see what is going on. And then we also have a plan where we link you up with recruiters. The last session we had one of our career coach, one of my very good friend career coach, actually came in there and just talked people through how to see themselves as a value provider, and that was quite useful, as well as also as setting goals. So if you look at what we do, we're not just your typical get a crash program in place and put you maybe in a program, or get a crash program in place and say, okay, bye bye, we don't want to talk to you again. The way we sort of see it is like a lifetime engagement. And most of the people that we've trained over the past years have always come back, to attest to the fact that we have been supportive along the way. And because the work is obviously getting bigger, we also as a company also have other people who are former mentees are coming back to be mentors, to also mentor other people. So the new program we're going to be starting as well, we have one of our old mentees, one of my very good friends, who is going to be coming on board to also help to mentor other people in terms of what it's going to give back. On one of the projects that we're working on at the moment, for example, is what we call an online mentoring platform, where we're going to have mentor and mentee meet together on an online mentoring platform where we can provide regular feedback on, and you can track that online. So hopefully by the time we get that launch, it's also going to take the whole engagement to a new level. The other thing that we normally you also have an opportunity to engage is that we have our development teams offshore in India. You have the opportunity to also link with them. So when we get into the whole agile scrum process, you'll be having daily stand up with them and be talking to them about how things are going. Obviously, when you get on the program, the projects you work on will not be the same. So there might be some project where, like the online mentoring program, for online mentoring platform that we're building, for example, that's due to go live in July. One of the key things that is there is, sorry, I just want to check that. Uh, okay, can everybody hear me? All right, please. I think I'm getting some feedback that people can still hear me. That is getting maybe a bit mumbled. If you can just post your chat, if you can just chat me, just so I know that you can hear me properly, please. Okay, can you hear me? Can you post a chat just so I know you can hear me? I'm assuming that everybody can hear me. Okay. All right. Naya, can you hear me clearly? Okay, good. All right. So please, if at any point in time, I think it's my other presenter is the one that is hearing the feedback. Maybe I think to the rest of the people, it seems like it's clear. Okay, fantastic. So Adi, I think it's because you're a co-presenter. I don't know why that is happening. All right, but yeah. So I think people can hear me, which is fine. So let me go back to the slide, just so I don't confuse anyone. So essentially, in terms of some of the things that are coming up or that are coming downstream that will be very, very useful, that we think actually is going to be really, really beneficial, is that when we have the online mentoring platform that we're setting up, we're actually going to use it as a platform where we can collaborate more with other people in the marketplace. And the platform has the opportunity to also link with to hook up with LinkedIn, so we can get other LinkedIn people to come in there and mentor our mentees. So essentially, there are people out there who want to give back. It's not just about paying for it. So what we're planning to do is have this mentoring platform as well that is going to be online, that will provide feedback back to you, and you can hook up with people and make sure you have proper engagement. And why is that important? It's important because we believe that the more people that we're able to help, the more we can help the world. Basically, we've had amazing testimonies of people who have come from the kind of job that they don't really like, maybe paying low salary, and by the glory of God, they've been able to get something wonderful, excellent, not just £20,000. We're talking over 50K salary. Now, it might not work for everyone. And I'm not promising a magic wand, but what I'm promising is that for anyone who can really commit, who can see it as work, not as just training, there's benefit. There's benefit to we're sure that you will get something out of it. We're sure that you can create a change in your life. Now the other thing, so just to recap again, 3 months intensive mental health program. Once a week you meet with me on any other mentor to get new understanding. You work with your team. You get assigned to a project. You have honors roll for work that you've done. You get feedback on the work that you produce. You get to work in your area of specialty. And I think we're probably the only company now that are trying to do what we're trying to do here, in terms of, I know there are other competitors out there that are doing fantastically well as well, but I think in terms of what we're trying to do, which I'm going to show you in a minute, we're probably the only company right now that's getting to that area. Basically, we do not just want to deliver produce project managers and BAs. We actually want to produce people that can work across the spectrum. So project managers, BA, testers, product managers. Basically, if you get a project today and you happen to fall into any of those category, we want to be able to groom you and train you to do that. And why is that important? Why do we think we're qualified? In terms of my current role, for example, at the moment, I am I function as the country lead for a company called Zurich in the UK, where we manage their web delivery. And I've got a lot of experience around that, around agile and delivery and web, which is quite useful. Which I think, if you want to go far, it would be nice to get somebody who actually works in the industry. That's what he does. That is his trade. That's his trade, day in trade, and then you can get that feedback. And so I think that will be something that will be useful as well. And other people that are joining, they also have that experience, like the other colleague I mentioned is working, keep in top-notch e-commerce companies in the UK, and you will get the benefit of having that experience as well. And we have other mentors at the moment that have also gone through the project, and senior project manager somewhere working fantastically with them, being able to add value. So I think the combination of the people that you're going to be engaging with as mentors will be quite value add. So if you look at, so in a nutshell, what I've got in this slide just shows the kind of role that we cover in our mentoring platform. So project manager, business analyst, obviously product owners, somebody who actually owns the product that we're building, PMO manager or analyst, a scrum master that will handle all of the agile work, and testers. So this is the package that we put together, not just project manager and BA. So we try to focus our attention on giving value back to the people. And now, if you look at the key things, what you have on the slide, that you need to collaborate with others, mentored by practitioners who are actually working in industry. You have live project that you can work on. Job search technique will be taught. Interview skills technique will be taught. CV review will be done, and course work feedback. Obviously, there's the issue of references, that you also get references, but references given based on people that actually work. All right. Obviously, the reason why that's important is because if you haven't shown a lot of you haven't participated in teams, you don't attend meetings, it's expected that you attend at least 80% of the meetings. So we keep a meeting log where we keep people that come to meetings, whether the meeting with me as a mentor or as a mentor, meetings within the team. So if you don't attend your meeting regularly, obviously we cannot be sure that you know what we're talking about. We also cannot be sure that you can represent concepts very well, because you're going to have the name on the CV. So in order to protect ourselves and also protect other people that would benefit from the program, we take the issue of references very very seriously. It definitely depends on how you have been able to add value within the program. Now, what we use, if you go back to this slide, I said that we use our concepts for the project delivery framework. And essentially what we use is this. If you look here, this might be a bit confusing, but the way to look at it is that what you have on top here is what we call the project life cycle. Okay, any project that you run in this world, whether it is you are building a house somewhere, or you're running an agile project, or you're building a website or an app, you have initiation, you have planning, execution, closure, and post implementation. Now, this is something that you work normally. Now, what we've sort of done here is that if you look here, we've got sample deliverable, the things that the sample product that you have to produce, that we can check and make sure that you're doing the right thing. And then you have waterfall here, which is you have analysis and design, development, testing, implementation, and post implementation. That is what we call a waterfall model. And then we have Scrum, which is basically this thing that in a cycle here that talks about continuous work, and then you get into some sort of release cycle. Now, the key thing really here, forget about how confusing this might look. The key thing in here is that what we use is what we call waterfall plus agile, which is on the next slide. And basically what I've done is I've basically said, look, if you come into our project, there's some sort of initiation work that will be there. Let me just check some people are posting comment. Let me just check properly that people can still hear me. Yeah, good. I think people can still hear me. All right. So if you look at the screen that you have there, what we've done is that when you come in, because most software projects traditionally gets run by what we call waterfall model, which again, if you go back here, analysis, design, development, testing, implementation, post implementation, we know that all projects can't just be run by Scrum, which is you have a product backlog here, you do planning, and then you daily meet every single time, and you produce something. You produce an increment to a product. Say, for example, you have an already existing website, and you want to add, let's say, e-commerce functionality to it to be able to take payments online. So that product already exists. When you add that new functionality, it becomes an increment to that product. And then at the end of that, the work that's been done, you review that what has been done is according to what has been planned. And then you do what you call a lessons learned. What have you learned here? Now, this might be a cycle of work that might take over 3 months. So every single 2 weeks or 1 month, you're delivering something, and then you produce that. That gets tested at the end of the day, and they get released and get to the post implementation. All right. So so because this is what we do, the key thing really is to make sure that what is really important to take out of this conversation is that some of the deliverable you have here, you produce as you move through the life cycle. So, and then we'll provide feedback for them. So you can see project man chatter. Let me just take a break here. I think I just want to check that people can still hear me. So please, if you can hear me again, please just, oh, it's just screen is not changing. Okay, hold on. I will stop sharing screen and then screen share again. Okay, let me just screen share again. Thank you very much. Okay, can you let me know whether you can see my screen now? You can just send me a chat, then I will make sure that Ade, can you see my screen? Oh, sorry. Present to everyone. Oh, sorry, my fault. You should see my screen now, please. Can you please let me know if you can see my screen? Super. All right. So where did I lose you? Where did I lose you in terms of seeing the screen? Fantastic. Thank you very much, everyone. Where did I lose you? Okay, let's see where we are. Did that, it is the screen that talks about the roles. Did you get to see that? The one that is on the screen right now? Did you see that before when I was talking about it? Oh, so you can't see my screen from the beginning. Wow, interesting. Is that a yes? Okay. All right. What I would do, let me quickly go through. I'm just going to run through this because I have explained it before. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to go. So basically, what I mentioned before is that I think I spoke about the fact that the company was founded, 2006. It's a management consultancy firm as a start, which means we do business transformation. So it's not just about project management and business analysis. We actually do transformation work. So we've done work where a company wants to transform their business. We say, okay, let's move from here to here, and we've done that. All right, and we help them to shape their business. Out of that business shaping, there might be a need to deliver projects or do some business analysis. And some of the companies we worked on are on the screen there. A Zurich, Telegraph, Vodafone, Unilever. Fortunately, we've been fortunate to work in top-notch companies in the UK, and we've trained hundreds of people. Some of them through a proper Prince 2 training, some of them through the mentoring program. All right, but the mentoring program is different from a training program because if you go to a training program, they're going to train you to get certification, but you can get certification and not get good. I think we're seeing the screen. You can get certification and not really get the experience. And I think I did mention about my own experience when I first came to the country and the challenge that I had, and fortunately how God helped me to meet someone who said, look, let me take you to a platform where you can actually see how this thing works in real life. And I showed me some of their templates and how things work, and that helped me to visualize what I was learning. And then I also had to take up like a part-time job somewhere to learn and try and practically put into use what I've learned from a Prince 2 training. And then I got a breakthrough with the help of God to be able to then move forward. Now, our program is meant to be a 3-month minimum. I know I think the advert might say 6 weeks, but actually, from experience, you really cannot expect to get the experience you need to go and work as a project manager. Yeah, to go and work as a project manager just within 6 weeks. If anybody tells you that, we can't do that. It's not possible from my experience, because there's a lot that's meant to be learned in getting the practical experience that you literally cannot get that experience if you don't spend 3 months. I know some people might not like to say, oh, 3 months for me before I get this thing, but I can guarantee you it will be 3 months worth your while if you put the effort into the work. Basically, I always tell people, be sure that you're ready to do it before you get on, because it's intensive. The people that have done the training before will tell you that it's intensive. There are deadlines that we set every week for work to be done. So if we train you a concept today, let's say we'll train you on how to do project brief, we'll ask you to go and practicalize it the same week and say, okay, by the next week, get us a project brief document that we can look at. And that's the way we work it. And the reason for that is because the project that we're doing has got a deadline. There have been instances where our project have been delayed because of circumstances that are outside of the control of the mentees. Say, for example, developer has a problem, or being able to choose to develop become protracted, and that's something that you will always also face in a normal, when you get a job. You can face that challenge as well. All right, so and it's all part of the process. So essentially, you work on a live project. You use what we call a agile approach, which is waterfall plus agile. There will be all the template that was needed for the work for every life cycle will be available as when you need it. You will get to work in your area of specialty. And when we talk about area of specialty, we're talking about whether as a project manager, business analyst, product owner, PMO, scrum master, or tester. And you get collaboration with other people in your team. You'll be assigned to a project with a project manager assigned, and you get your role assigned appropriately. You collaborate with other people using our online platform. And you'll be mentored by practitioners, basically somebody who works in the field, and you work on live project. And then we'll also talk about job search technique. Okay, you can see this in my screen. Job search technique. How do you search on JobServe? What are the sites to go and search the job for? What are the keywords to use? What are the technique around searching for job? For example, there's a particular period of time in the day that you should be searching. You should be searching work at 2 o'clock because the recruiter's mailbox is already full, for example. So those are the kind of technique we're going to talk about. Interview skills, how do you position yourself? How do you see them? How do you see yourself as a value add person, not just somebody who says my responsibility is to deliver the website, but that's just a responsibility. The key thing about interviews is around seeing yourself as somebody who adds value to the organization. I am a value provider, and you should have that mindset. So there's a mindset conversation around interview skills, CV review. We've spoken about that, and a feedback to the course that you actually produce. Now, if I go back here, I'll go back to this stuff here. You work in your area of specialty, you get feedback on the work that you've done. Honors roll for work that you've done. So if you give you an assignment and you happen to be top notch in the way you produce your work, you'll be celebrated. We'll send an email to everyone to say this person has done fantastically well, and your work can then also serve as a template that can be used for other work. You get assigned, you get put into a group email within conceptboard.org that you can use to send email to everyone. We try and link you up to recruiters. We also get into a state now where we're trying to partner with certain recruiters. We're starting conversation with some recruiters where we can say, actually, when our guys finish, we want to send them to you as like some sort of apprenticeship program. But that is still in process, is still in progress. You get to meet with your mentor once a week, and then you will have the opportunity to relate with the development team one-on-one. For example, like last week when we were trying to do some vendor selection, some of our mentees were able to join on a call with a development with an actual vendor in Ireland, and we had that conversation on WebEx and walk through the demo of the platform we're trying to bring on board. Now that's an experience that nobody else will give you, so you get to have that experience as well, where when somebody asks you in an interview, you can say, look, I've been part of a team that helped to assess the need to select a vendor. And so, for example, if you go on JobServe, you see that vendor selection is a key requirement around how do you select vendor, what are the rules, what are the things and what are the process around that. And you can confidently speak about the fact that, look, as a BA, I came up with this requirement around workshop, document the requirement, take that requirement, give it to a vendor, listen to their product, look at their product, what they've got to do, listen to what I've got to say about their product, what it does, and try to map that back to my requirement catalog. Doing that gives you an end-to-end platform, an end-to-end arrangement around how that works. So that's something I think is also very valuable. All right. So Yeah, so I think everybody can still see my screen. Okay, I think I've shared this slide already, so I'm going to move on to the next one. I then came up to this slide, where I talk about the project life cycle. So because you're going to go through project life cycle to be able to understand what we do, you see on the screen here, we talk about sample deliverables, the sample things that we're going to be doing. And then obviously you've got the project life cycle here, waterfall and Scrum framework. What I said before was, regardless of what life cycle, what project you are meant to deliver, you will definitely need to go through the project life cycle. Every single project has got initiation, it's got planning, it's got execution, it's got closure, and it's got post implementation. So fundamentally, if you take this off, just bear this in mind. The next slide just sort of took away all of this swim lane here, and dealt with Wagile as an approach. And you see here that in the waterfall model, you still continue with your waterfall, but every single project in the world has something called about initiation. We talked about, which definitely you need to have like a mandate that give you the reason why you're starting the project. You are meant to create a project charter, and during this period, the BAs will be working on doing some pestle analysis and SWOT analysis, and then we also produce a business case that can be embedded in the project charter. During this period, the tester will work on test strategy, creating a test strategy for the overall project. And during this period, the PMO will be looking at PMO approach, what kind of PMO structure do we want to have? What kind of naming convention are we going to be having in our PMO? And they will look at minute taking. How do you take minutes? And also look at all of the other templates. Any template that is not there that needs to be amended, we'll then look at that and get that amended. During the planning phase, obviously a key thing is to make sure to have all of the plans in place, and make sure that things like your overall raid log, risk action issues and dependency log is properly set up in the PMO. And then the BA, as part of what they do, at the minimum, they will do business activity model, which talks about the model of the organization. How does the organization work in terms of the overall goal, the assist and to be process? How do we work now? How are we going to work in the future? How does the delivery that we're trying to deliver now, how will it impact the way we work? That's assist and to be process. We define key performance indicators, that's KPIs, and critical success factor. What will make us to be different from our competitors? So things like that will be created during this planning phase. Obviously, we're going to have a test plan, make sure that our PMO is set up properly, and then and when we get into execution, which is in this phase here, we get into Scrum. And at this point in time, we're going to be working through Scrum and Agile process. Basically, we're going to take all of the requirement that we have in the requirement catalog, put that into this product backlog, and then we begin to plan the sprint and deliver all the work iteratively. So during this period, what you see is that this slide here, it's like development, testing, and implementation is covered within the cycle, within the Scrum cycle. So that's a key thing to try and understand. So beyond the design, when you get into execution, all of these three things, which is part of the waterfall, is subsumed in the Scrum framework here. All right. So and that's what you have. That's what you have there. So and then obviously I'll give an example before that. If you let's say you have a website and you want to embed e-commerce capability, the opportunity to buy something online on your website, once that gets delivered, it becomes an increment to the original product. That's what we mean by product increment. And then at the end of it, you do what we call a sprint review, which is to say you show maybe every 2 weeks or every 1 month, depending on what is chosen, you show what has been produced to someone, to the product owner, who will then ratify and validate that. At the end of each cycle, you do what we call a sprint retrospective, which says, how are things going now? What have we learned in this sprint? How do we make this better in the next sprint? And then that cycle continues until we get to the end of the testing, where we then do proper testing with the end user. Because it's Agile, that's why we are doing this. If it is not Agile, if it's proper, just pure Agile, what you do is at the end of this sprint retrospective, you just go into release straight, because all of the work here will have, as you deploy a sprint or a bunch of sprint, you package the code into release and that gets deployed. All right, but because we're doing Agile, we just need to make sure we also test it again and they got that gets released. All right, so that's an example around our project delivery framework. And if you look here, you got during during the execution and control phase, you have things like reporting. The project manager will be producing their weekly report, weekly highlight report. You have your Bondan chart. You have tracking on Trello. There's a tool that we use that's called Trello. You get a track, and then there'll be test report that will be produced based on test cases that will have been defined. At the end of the project, when we're closing, there must be an end project report. Requirement traceability matrix talks about how we trace back the requirement that was started from the beginning and check that against what has been delivered, make sure that everything is fine, and then obviously make sure that we can do post implementation. All right, so that's the key approach at the moment. Now, if I then go on to the next slide, some of the success here, obviously there are lots of people that we've trained, there are lots of people that we've mentored. These are just some of the stuff that we've got in there. There are other people that are working today as project managers, scrum masters, and they're earning maybe £400 a day or £500, £450 a day or thereabout. But I didn't list those here because those also are things that have come across all along the way. But in recent past, we've been able to achieve some sort of achievement around people that have gotten jobs, even up to a total package of up to £70,000, and we have project managers that are on this salary, and then we actually also have a case of somebody who's fresh out of uni, got mentored and got a job at about £25,000 an annum. Now we're not saying we have all the answers, but we're saying we can help you to take the things to the next level. So one of the things that I wanted to therefore show us quickly is just some of the stuff that we have here. Basically, if you look into just give me 1 minute. So for example, these are sample repository. This is where all of the information is going to be. You have all sort of files. You have what people have worked on. You can see all of those things in there. So when you work, you got to put your stuff in this repository where everybody can see it. And then this is our Trello, which is where we sort of manage things and put it in progress and do that. So that gives us, and then this is our team room that we also need to make sure we constantly update, make sure that it looks good. I can see that there's a lot of stuff in that we haven't done, but these are things that we need to make sure that as each team comes in, each team is responsible to build their own team room, which is a team room is a place where you can share information properly. But because we use WhatsApp as well, we don't get to use this as much as possible. But you have all of the tool in there to help you to understand how things work. All right. So I think I'm not sure whether I was signed out. Okay, let me see. Okay, I guess yeah. So I think coming back to the slide here. Okay. I think people can you see? Okay, somebody's raising up their hands. Let me see. Is that okay? Okay. Josephine and Adi, are you okay? Is everything all right? Can you just post a chat so that we know that you can see what we. Oh, you can't see the screen again. Okay, let's stop and then do the screen share again. Thank you for the feedback. Okay, so I think you should be seeing it now. Can you please comment whether you can see it now or not? I'm waiting. If you can just let me know whether you can. It should be okay now, please. Ade, can you see the screen? Bankole, can you see the screen? Okay, Justin can see the screen. Bankole, what about you? Still on the same page. So the page that I'm on at the moment is the some so far. Colin, is that what you're saying? Okay, so I'm seeing page 6. It's interesting technology. Yeah, that's page 6 is that's where I am. Ankole, you sure you cannot see my screen? Okay, the laptop also cannot see my screen. Okay, I'm going to stop again and share the screen. Stop screen sharing. Stop screen sharing. Okay, you can see my face at least. Okay, yeah, you can see my face. So let's do screen sharing. Let's share the screen. Let's share the screen. You should be able to see the Trello. Is that what you see? The point is I've got Trello on the page, which is our tracking tool. Okay, all right. I don't know why the technology is a bit of a let's see. You should see okay, see what the issue is. Okay, sorry about. All right, I think the thing is a bit okay. So I think people can see it now. So basically, what you have on the screen, I'm just show you some of the yeah. So you got the Trello on the screen. I think maybe it's because of the of Google, but you can see the trailer on the screen basically, and this shows you like some of the stuff we're doing that we've done. And this one of this, so the prayer that we have that is coming on in the next, I think by the next end of the plan is by the end of this month or next month, we're going to have this platform. It's not going to be an online mentoring platform where you can get assigned instead of tracking your mentoring progress through email or whatever. You actually, when you join, we're now going to assign you, we're going to get a goal for you to say, okay, what are you trying to get out of this session, and we can track your progress. All right, so that's what we're trying to do. Obviously, because it's a new thing that we're trying out, there might be a bit of some quirks as we go along, but we're going to try and make sure we fine tune it. But the plan is to make sure that we turn the whole process into some sort of automated system that will make sure that we can add value to anyone that join our program. All right. Okay. So I think the time now is 10:30. I'm trying to make sure that I don't keep you for too long. Now, in terms of this, the last screen I'm just going to share. I'm not sure whether that is showing now. Then, yes, let's see how that works. It's not. I think it's okay. Let's see. I'm going to just stop screen sharing for a minute and then try and do it again. I don't know why that is showing that problem. So I've got, so you should have, yeah, so this is screen that you have on the screen now. And basically, yeah, that's fine. So now in terms of the next steps, basically you got, if you've got any question, you can send an email to admin@concepts.org. The next class will start on the 27th of June 2015. And obviously that first session is going to be face-to-face to try and make sure that people are get collaboration. Our training gets run in North London, in about Anger Lane. But subsequent session then will be like a WebEx. And what we also use, we use a tool. I'm just going to show you the tool while you're on the call. We also use a tool called Join Me to try and also that's what we use for our sessions, and you can use that as well for your chat, hanging out with your team, making sure that you and your team you're tracking work that's ongoing, and this allows you to share screen just as this one as well. And the beautiful thing with this platform, even though it has its own quirks as well, is that if you have a developer in India, for example, there's an Indian number that the person can use to dial, which is quite awesome, which is quite nice actually. So let me just share that with you for a minute so that you can see what I'm give me 1 minute. Okay. Right. Okay, so I think that is what we, so we have a song called join me dot, if you just join.me dot slash concept world, it will show you that is what we have. So let me just show that in a minute. Screen share, join.me, join.me. Yeah. So that's what we have. Oh no, that's not what I. So sorry. Anyway, I think I'm just trying to bring up a new screen here that will show us what it is. So it's called join.me. That's what we use for our collaboration, and that means that people can talk regularly. So now I think that's really the key thing I wanted to share tonight. I'm not sure whether we can, let me see if I can put everybody on mute, on mute, so that you can, if you got any question, you can then ask the question. So I just need to go here and see how to please give me a minute so that if you got any question, you can ask the question. Okay. Wow. Okay. I think there's a challenge around this platform tonight. I seem to struggle to see how to unmute you all. But if you have, anybody has got a question, you can pose the question, and then and I'm happy to answer that. So that we can then do that. Give me 1 minute. So is there a question? Just before I. Okay. All right. So I think the key thing really also is that we the next session starts on the 27th of June, and then there's a key landing page there that if you want to you know, go in and book, you can go to our website, conceptsworld.org.uk, and you can go to the landing page. So I'm going to just put that in there on the screen. And the price obviously is £600, but we are mandated by HMRC to register for VAT because of the way the program is going. So basically, we will have to put 20. There's going to be a 20% markup price in there at some point. So if you want to start, if you want to join before the, as maybe in the next 2 weeks, you can still pay £600, which means we will have to offset that. But if you don't join within that period, when we finalize our process with HMRC, the price will have to go up to 720, 20, which is 120 on top of that is for the government, it's not for Concepts World. Okay, but that's what we are mandated to do. All right, so I think the screen I was trying to share before now is showing, which is the Join Me platform that you can see on the screen there. That is the platform that we use. Okay, so now, so if anybody wants to, I think, I'm not sure whether anybody's asking questions. So I think I still have people on the call, but if you can, yeah, I don't know. I think I can't, yeah, I can't see anybody on this chat anymore. So fundamentally, if you want to take an action, please, you can send an email to admin@conceptsworld.org. Or if you want to just get on the program, you can go to this session, this slide here. Let's talk about Concept World, the training page, and you see the course there, and you can just register. All right. Okay. So I think that's it really. Is there? I think if you have any question that you want to ask, you can post in the chat. I'll still be there to answer the question. Okay, but I think above all, I want to thank you for taking time to come over tonight, even though I mean it's late and all the technology mishap. So I really want to thank you very much. Um, Ade, are you still there? Oh, okay, all right. Um, Ade, I can't hear you, but obviously, I can't seem to on get it. If you've got any question, or somebody's trying to raise up their hand, Josephine. Okay, okay, hold on. Let me. If you just raise up your hand, I can invite you as a speaker. Just give me 1 minute. Let's try this thing out. Okay, he's just trying to make you a speaker, Josephine. Let's see how it goes. Can you okay. Okay, I don't know what's happening. Anyway, apologies everyone. All right, I think that's it really. If there's no question of the, if you've got any question, please send an email to admin@consensus.org, or you can, go to our website, consensus.org, and you will see the all the information there. Again, I want to thank you for coming. This video should be on YouTube at some point, so you can also play that back and see it. All right, I just want to say thank you very much, and I will speak to you soon. I want to make sure that I keep to my time. So thank you, and so I will now be ending the broadcast, if that's okay.